Hey, beautiful soul. You're listening to the Rising into Mindful Motherhood podcast, your weekly dose of fertility wisdom. I'm your host, Dr. Katie Wood. I'm a barefoot mama bear, pharmacist, and integrative fertility coach. This is your go-to podcast for all things to naturally nourish your fertility, embody womb healing, and reclaim your feminine power to accelerate your path to pregnancy. My expert guests and I will be having intentional conversations to discuss the many facets of a thriving, fertile foundation, natural wellness, and how we grow and transform as women on our journey to motherhood. So let's dive in, shall we? Hello, and welcome to Rising into Mindful Motherhood. On this very gloomy day outside, I'm really excited to dive a little bit deeper into a post I did on Instagram yesterday that got a lot of engagement, and people seemed to really resonate with what I shared. So I wanted to share it on here with you all in a little bit more detail. So what I shared was how I was actually able to conceive my baby and be able to cancel my fertility specialist appointment. So to me, when I was perceiving to be struggling on my fertility journey, I wanted to conceive naturally. I really didn't want to have to go to a fertility specialist and get a bunch of testing done, a bunch of labs done, and potentially not get any answers as to what is actually going on underneath. I was really fearful of that, and that going down that road didn't feel aligned. So I focused on a few things that inevitably led to the conception of my daughter, and I shared them. So I'm going to share them with you today. So really, in terms of mindset and energetics, I focused on these top three things. So number one, I released the pressure I was putting on myself to conceive. I was putting so much pressure on myself to conceive like right away, instantly. I wasn't allowing myself and my body any space, any grace, any compassion. It's putting a lot of pressure on baby too. So essentially, I was repelling my conception from happening because I wanted it and I felt like I needed it to happen. And that's when you can repel. Instead of obsessing over every little thing in terms of timing in my fertile window and counting down how many days past ovulation I was until I could finally take a pregnancy test. I feel like if I could sum up my fertility journey, it felt like a lot of waiting and putting my life on hold. So let me know in the comments section if you resonate with this at all. I feel like I would just be waiting in 2-week increments, right? You get your period, and if you have a typical regular cycle, you're waiting 2 weeks, about 2 weeks until you ovulate. And then you ovulate. And then you're waiting about another 2 weeks to see if you conceived or if you're getting your period. And then depending on what happens, it just starts all over. Like it was almost like waiting, taking a breath, ovulation happened, period came, and then just like holding my breath and waiting until the next like goalpost happened, essentially. So that's causing a lot of constriction in the body, right? And it's going to be like a hose. It's going to kink the hose of the flow of our energy, our fertile energy. So that's essentially what I was doing. So I had decided to release that pressure, release this needing to do and force. And I decided that becoming a mother was meant for me because it was on my heart. And it's not my job to try to control the how or the when of my conception. It's my job to just know and trust that it's for me because it's something that I desire. So then another thing that I so lovingly and gratefully tapped into was I reaccessed, I should say, my feminine energy of receptivity and openness. We all have feminine and masculine energies. It is not gender specific or gender dependent. We all have both. And I had been leading very, 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 very heavily in my masculine. So a lot of women who are type A, go-getters, high achievers, they can resonate with this. I did really well in school. I was in a bunch of different clubs. I did sports, all of these things, got into college. Yes, I partied probably a little bit too much, but I also really, really strived to excel and succeed and do good to become a pharmacist. So then I could go on and have a successful life and check off all the boxes of all the things that we're conditioned to feel make us worthy and successful and so on and so forth. So I was very much in my masculine energy. And that's how I was leading my fertility journey. How you do one thing is how you do all things. Working in retail, very, very much in my logical mind and no room for space or creativity, right? It's just like this box that you're in and lists of tasks that you have to do and just so much using the left brain. So that's how I was. That's how I was being in my fertility journey. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it 10 times over. Googling, endlessly Googling, what can I do? What can I take? Da 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 da. Why isn't it happening right now? When I was in college, okay, if I study and I put forth in this much time and energy into studying, then typically the outcome would be getting a really good grade in that class. So my brain was thinking, okay, if I put forth this much time and energy in my fertility journey, well, X plus Y should equal Z, aka becoming pregnant. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So I really tapped into my feminine essence, my like creative, playful nature, and just allowing, right? Just allowing things to be as they were in that moment. So instead of allowing my masculine energy to dominate and take over my fertility journey, now, still having masculine energy is important, but it's a certain type of masculine energy, like an empowered masculine energy. So then your feminine can feel safe. So essentially, I nurtured and created a safe space for my feminine side to essentially like peek out and come out to play. And then I was able to lean back with trust and surrender. So if you are someone who was like me and just very type A and high achiever, do you have, I always like to say this, do you like to check off checklists? Then you potentially may be leading too much in your masculine. Oh, I'm a checklist gal. Using our 4-step restorative fertility framework, we will 1, reveal the physical and energetic root cause. 2, we will remove the barriers to you conceiving and carrying a pregnancy to term. Number 3, we will rebalance the physical and energetic body with bio-individual strategies. And number 4, receive. you will nourish the mind, body, and spirit so you can receive baby. So this method is for the woman who is ready to transcend the limitations the Western space has put on her body and her fertility. I have 3 one-on-one spots, and this is for the woman who is ready to claim her fertility back. She's ready to step back into her power. She is ready to do what it takes to finally get pregnant. It's very limited. If you are feeling called and you want to learn more about this, so we can really connect, decide if this is an aligned step forward for both of us, find me on Instagram at _wellness_pharmacist. My Instagram is going to be in the show notes. And then third, I allowed myself to have fun in the present moment. And I think that this one is huge because I have spoken with so many women who are struggling. And I have had women point blank tell me they cannot be happy or feel joy or fulfillment until they get pregnant, until they have a child. So going back to the first thing, putting pressure on yourself, on the outcome. Think about the pressure that that's putting on your body and on baby. Not allowing yourself to enjoy and be in the now moment until you have something. I don't know, this just came to my mind, so I'll share this example. It just reminds me of a child who refuses to have fun on the playground until they get their ice cream or their sweet treat. What child do you know that would refuse to have fun and enjoy whatever activity it may be until they get something that they want? I don't know why that just came through. But so instead of letting my thoughts of failure and unworthiness ruminate and really take over my mind, because that's just taking down your energy, notches, and your belief. It's just taking it down a few pegs, and really it sabotages the present moment. And when we were trying to get pregnant, I swear it was like the busiest year that we had. We had so many weddings, so many fun family get-togethers, and it seemed the timing of these events would be around the time of, am I getting my period or a positive pregnancy test? Like, I specifically remember being at a wedding, taking a pregnancy test, and it was negative. And I was just like broken hearted. And it can really take away from the present moment and the joy that you deserve to feel in the present moment. So I chose feelings of joy and happiness now instead of getting sucked into this mindset and thought process of, when I'm pregnant, then I can be happy, fulfilled, present, loved, whatever it may be. So thinking about, how can you, one, begin to take the pressure off of yourself? Maybe you can journal about it. You can say affirmations. You can do a meditation. How can you begin to create a safe space for your feminine to feel safe to come out and really nourish your fertility journey? Maybe that looks like taking some intentional time, solo time with yourself every day, whether it's a walk in nature or journaling, taking a bath. It could be so many things. Or maybe drawing, singing, dancing, like whatever creative outlet that maybe you enjoyed when you were younger, but you've gotten away from it. And how can you choose presence and happiness now, because you deserve to be happy now. You're worthy to be happy and feel loved and fulfilled right now. And you want to cultivate that sense of safety and worthiness in these feelings that you are wanting to feel in the now moment before you get pregnant. Okay. So when I really implemented what I just shared here with you, I literally conceived in the month I least expected. Like, it was a month that we didn't even think it could happen for us because we were in different places. We let go. I mean, we did still do the baby dance when we could, but we let go of that pressure. We let it go. And I truly feel that that was a huge part in how we got pregnant that month. And it's not just me. I have clients who have had illogical conceptions where literally doctors would be stumped. Nothing on paper could explain how they got pregnant in that cycle. Like, I'm talking women with hormone levels that were so low and such a short luteal phase, like, it doesn't make sense. Women who have been trying for 9 years to get pregnant, and then they start implementing this and boom, they get pregnant. A 44-year-old woman who had been trying and she had a miscarriage. Her doctor told her there's no way she could get pregnant naturally. We had one session together. She had a couple of really pivotal shifts. She was pregnant. So what's the common denominator in all of this? It wasn't until we became embodied in our feminine fertility. And what I mean by embodied is you're not just thinking it like, oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, I'll take the pressure off. I'll be happy now. I'll start being more feminine. It's not just that. It is you're actually experiencing it and living it. You're feeling it in your body. So we're taking it from the mind into the body. And I know if you've been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, you have heard me say that over and over and over again. So they become embodied in your fertility on a new level, and they conceived against all odds. So I'm going to share with you a little piece on how you can start doing this for yourself. My 7-day fertile womb embodiment challenge. And this is where you are going to tap in to your feminine, become embodied in your fertility, and becoming a mother is just going to be a part of your inevitable reality. It's going to take the pressure off. You're not going to feel so constricted and like you're forcing and overdoing. It's going to feel easeful and effortless, and you're going to be able to tap into more joy and creativity and love. Your fertility journey gets to feel good to you, whatever that looks like or feels like for you. You deserve that. So the link is going to be in the show notes as always. And I am sharing my Instagram handle in the show notes as well. I have an amazing one-on-one opportunity that I shared in the middle of the podcast. So let me know if that's something that you are wanting to learn more about. You are ready to really step into the highest level of yourself on your fertility journey, on your way to becoming a mother. I'm there to hold space for you, support you, whatever it is that you need. Just reach out. And again, thanks so much for listening. I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Rising into Mindful Motherhood podcast. If this episode resonated with you or gave you an aha moment, stop what you're doing right now and write a review. This simple act of kindness helps me get this podcast out to connect with as many women as I possibly can. I also have a special offer. If you send me a screenshot of your review, I will take $250 off one of my premium coaching containers. Let me know what resonated with you the most and why. So connect with me in my free Facebook community or tag me on Instagram. You'll find both listed below. Thanks again from the bottom of my heart for tuning in to this episode, and I'll see you next time.